what's happening. There we have it. We're live. Hey, good evening, and thank you for tuning in with Fathers Who Care. And as always, it's our pleasure to come to you each week and to share with you information and individuals who are making a difference in the neighborhood. And as always, we believe at Fathers Who Care, any man that's physically capable can make a baby, but it takes a real man to be a father. And we take fatherhood extremely serious. And so tonight on this show, we would like to empower some, educate others, but for the most part, we would like to talk some seriousness tonight. We want to talk about the state of the district. We want to talk about some things in relationship to violence. We want to talk about mental health. We want to talk about opioid use. We want to talk about what's going on in the neighborhood to empower our young folks. Most importantly, we want to talk, and it's most importantly to me because I really feel strong about it, what can we do to engage more parents to be actively involved in the lives of their children? I'm talking about a real social environmental change in the community. But before we get there, let's go ahead and present to some and introduce to others none other than our guest this evening. And I'm sure most of you that are viewing tonight know our guest. He's none other than Honorable Richard Boykin, the Cook County Board of Commissioner for the 1st District. And I guess tonight we would like to talk to the Commissioner, if we may, about what is the state of the district. What's happening in the district? What have you been doing in the district? What can the community folks continue to do in the district to keep on empowering our community? What can we do to reduce substance abuse and senseless violence in our neighborhood? What can we do to engage more of our parents, particularly, into rearing their children and being responsible for their children, maybe adapting some of the values that we grew up with, where we kind of take care of our own. Right. If a young person was doing something down the street, you wouldn't be out to try to get him in trouble. You're trying to discipline him and make sure he understands the errors of his ways.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, Commissioner, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for, in spite of all the other stuff you have to do, and we know you've been extraordinarily busy, or it looked like it. All right?
We have.
It looked like
we have.
It looked like you've been extraordinarily busy. But what we'd like to do, if you don't mind, tonight we'd like to take this opportunity to give you a few minutes to relax and talk to the people on the air. Of course, we're on CAN TV Live tonight. The number here is 312-738-1060, and we're on Facebook Live. And so what we would like to do is have an interactive conversation. And we would like for you to talk to us about particularly why are you so passionate about being a commissioner? What is the state of the district, the 1st District? And what have you been doing in the district to engage young folks, to empower young folks, and to continue to do the work that we've been doing in the neighborhood to make our neighborhood safe? So with that being said, first I'd like to just say to you that I know that you're a proud father, that you're a committed and dedicated public servant for many years. You've been committed to the reduction in gun violence, criminal justice reform, jobs, economic development, and the expansion of mental health services. I believe that from what I know of you in the neighborhood, you have been a champion for human and civil rights. So I do know that you have a passion for doing what you can to empower the people. But tell the audience, before we get into that political side of you, who is Richard? Not Commissioner Boykin, all right? Who is Richard? Would you share that with us?
So, Reverend, thank you very much for having me on the show, and thank your listening audience as well.
Okay.
I'm proud. I'm just a po' boy from Mississippi. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, raised in Chicago in the Englewood community, and I know what it's like to be poor. We were on welfare when I was coming up. Quite frankly, I went to college on an athletics scholarship, Central State University at HBCU, and it was at Central State University that I actually found my voice and found what I was created to do, and that is to serve others and to help others. After finishing school at Central State, I came back here and taught in the Chicago Public Schools for a year, and then I went to law school at the University of Dayton in Ohio, so I spent 7 years in Ohio. I worked for Congressman Bobby Rush, Senator Carol Mosley Braun, and spent 10 years with Congressman Danny Davis, working on behalf of residents of the 7th Congressional District. And so I'm proud of who we are. I'm proud of what we stand for. I'm an ordained minister as well, actually, and get a chance to, preach from time to time. But more importantly, I think teach and lead by example. And that's what we all want to do. And so that's Richard Boykin.
So that's the Richard Boykin. So let's get down to some brass taxes.
Okay.
What is the county's budget? What is the county budget?
So the county's budget is about $5.2 billion.
5.2.
5.2 billion. 89% of that is public health and public safety.
Okay.
The rest of it is economic development in terms of tax incentives and, actually bringing people, businesses into the county and helping those businesses that are in existence actually stay and continue and expand. And so
Okay.
that's the budget.
Now, our community, particularly on the west side of Chicago, now if you choose to want to give us the borders of the district, of the first district, you can do that. But for the most part, there seems to be this plight of violence
Yes,
that's just running rampant
yes,
in some communities.
yes.
And folks are not feeling safe. What can we do to make folks feel safer in their neighborhoods? What can we do?
Well, so since I got on the board 3.5 years ago, I've been the most outspoken voice against all of this violence. I think it's a tragedy that in the Austin community, in West Garfield, and East Garfield, and Lawndale, and places like that, that people are being shot every day and that people are living in fear. Nowhere in the world should people live in fear like this. And so what I've done is a number of initiatives. One, we put a tax on ammunition. We put a tax on bullets sold in the county. That still hasn't slowed the violence, but we did that and we passed it. And by doing so, we took on the National Rifle Association and we beat them. I doubled the penalty for people caught carrying assault weapons in the county. I got rid of replica guns in the county, those things that they were using for lighters and stuff like that. I put forward
when they were walking around and it actually looked like a gun, but it's a lighter.
Absolutely.
Right.
I put forward a 7-point plan to curb gun violence, and part of that 7-point plan called for an investment in parenting because I believe we have a lot of single mothers raising children who need help. We have a lot of grandparents raising children who need their grandkids who need help. And so we also just the other day announced a jobs program, a collaboration with PepsiCo and
Is
the
that
city
the one that you're going to
colleges.
be doing? Now, you also had a piece that we would normally bring the young folks to over at Christ the King.
Right, that's a hiring fair.
That's the hiring
That's
fair
a
for the
big
young
hiring
folks
fair.
between the ages of.
16 and 24.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This
But-
is, I think, it's about the third annual,
The fourth.
fourth annual. Okay.
Fourth.
Okay.
And so, but we also proud to have gotten more than 400 people hired at Brookfield Zoo.
Okay.
Young people, opportunities at Brookfield Zoo. But the PepsiCo and City Colleges piece that I'm so proud of is a piece where PepsiCo has agreed to hire at least 40 people from the city colleges of Chicago for transportation jobs, manufacturing and warehousing jobs, office kind of things. And this is an initiative that came about a year ago. We've been working on it since then. But we leveraged it, and they've said that they're going to target communities that have double-digit unemployment. We hope to expand that initiative to the entire beverage industry, Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper and Snapple and others. But PepsiCo owns Frito-Lay, and they own Gatorade and all these other big ticket companies. And so we're gonna put people to work. We think that economic development, parenting, strict enforcement of curfew laws, these are some of the things that can help reduce the violence in our neighborhoods. But we got to give children hope.
Absolutely. Listen, you're watching Fathers Who Care. Our guest this evening is none other than Commissioner Richard Boykin of the 1st Cook County District. And we're talking about what can we do to engage, enlighten, and empower the people in the community. And we're also talking about what can we do together to empower each other. Also, we want to know what's going on in the neighborhood that you would like to know more about when it comes to trying to empower our young people. Let's get the caller. Caller, you on there. Your comment or question, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Ray, and I call every week because you have a fabulous show.
Thank you, Ray.
Like I said last week, You talk from the heart. And when you talk from the heart, you're talking the truth. Now for Mr. Boykin there. Sir, the last 20 years, people have come and gone, trying to make a difference, and they've never changed anything. What are your great ideas, which I know you have? Can you tell me them? You got my vote, but so I can tell my friends, family that you're the man. That's so much
There you have it.
different.
So
much
and
different than other people.
Thank you for the call. Did you hear him?
he wants to know what great ideas do I have and what can we do to change things.
Is that what you said, sir? Ray?
I think
Go ahead,
that's
take
what
that
he
and run
said.
with it.
So
What are some of your ideas and what
Right.
can we do to empower folks? And then just take that and roll it into telling us what is the state of the county, the first district, okay?
So look, you know, the first district before I got here, I did an inventory when I got elected 3 years ago, and we had gotten $0 in terms of transportation money, zero. To date, we've received more than $25 million in terms of violence prevention grants, job training grants, and transportation grants
Now you're talking about for the county, right?
for my district,
For the
the
district,
first
right,
district,
right.
which is unheard of.
Right.
Never happened before I got here. And so we've gotten more than 25 million in resources for the district. But we've also done a number of things in terms of policy initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
So I led the effort to repeal that regressive sweetened beverage tax that was foisted upon the people. That beverage tax cost the county $12 million in terms of sales tax revenue. $12 million that we lost in terms of projected revenue went to Indiana, DuPage, Lake, and Will counties. We got rid of that. I got rid of the tax that they had on female hygiene products. So there was a tax on feminine hygiene products. When women would go to buy their products every month, they'd have to pay a tax. In the county, I got rid of that tax. We have a number of other things that we've done. We've raised the minimum wage in the county. We provided for paid sick leave in the county. Now, what do we want to do looking forward? I want to continue to reduce this gun violence that we see in our neighborhoods, and I think we can, and I think we're on to it with this jobs program and some other initiatives that we have. I want to continue to reform county government to make sure that we protect the pocketbooks of our taxpayers. I don't want to raise your taxes unless it's absolutely necessary.
Let's get this caller, and then you
Okay.
come back with that thought. Come on, caller, give us your caller.
Yeah.
Your call. We have Commissioner Richard Boykin on the show tonight. Talk to us. Tell us what's on your mind.
Okay, when you talk about violence, they want things to get better. Then how can things get better? You see more violence. And the media is part of the problem, the police part of the problem. My name is James, the one who called you last week. My name is James, the one who called you last week.
Okay,
How
James.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, now they talk about things can get better. How can things get better and more violent be on in people's neighborhood and they always talk about how can things get better. And they probably the problem, the police probably and the media probably problem. They talk about they get ready to gun.
So do me a favor, James. I feel your passion, but give me your question.
They should get better, help each other, like you always talk about.
Okay, I got your statement, but give us a question that you have for the commissioner tonight. We're talking about what we can do together to bring about change in our community, social environmental change, and what we can do to empower our young folks. So give me your question for the night so we can discuss it.
People in the neighborhood check out all the violence, and the police stop all the
Okay.
violence.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, James. Thank you. You heard.
So what I think
I
is
think he
this.
was talking
One,
about-
you can't police your way out of this. So we don't want to have troops in our neighborhoods. We can't police our way out. What we have to do is we have to have solid programmatic activity. We have to make sure that we keep our young people engaged. And again, we have to give them hope. We have to make sure that faith-based leaders as well have opportunities that they can help the young people and steer the young people in the right direction as well. And so that's what we're doing from the county perspective. One of the things I'm proud of is that we got a bill passed, it was my bill, that declared gun violence a public health epidemic.
Which it is.
In the county.
Which it is.
Well, it's the first time
Yeah, which it is.
in the country,
You would think.
in the country,
Right.
where we've declared gun violence a public health epidemic. And so you might say, well, Boykin, what does that mean? Well,
But Boykin, what does that mean?
What it means is that we're going to appeal to the federal government for more federal resources on this. We're going to appeal to the state government for more resources, the city government, and the county government. Look, we know that over the last 3 years, more than 10,000 people have been shot in the city of Chicago. 80% of those shot have been African American.
Okay.
Last year, for example, 650 people were killed. 82% of those killed African American. We make up 30% of the city population, over 80% of those being shot. Something is tragically wrong in our society.
And I agree with you, and I'm real passionate about that as well, because I'm out here with these young folks every day. And believe me, it hurts my heart, literally it hurts my heart to see that we can be with one of our young people today and it can go on tomorrow.
Yes.
Because of the plight of violence and the stigma associated with being out there in the street thinking it's okay to just pull guns on each other and shooting each other to be cool or to become part of an organization or whatever it might be. But what can we do as a community to get back to some of our values where we really care about our young folks enough that we protect our children in our community and not be afraid and run and hide because it may not be socially acceptable to be out there kind of protecting others. Let's talk about that in a minute. You got a caller. Caller, you on the air, your comment or question. We have Commissioner Richard Boykin. The number here, of course, is 312-738-1060. We're talking about what can we do to protect our babies, what can we do to empower our communities, what can we do to make sure that we are bringing economic development back into our neighborhoods, and most importantly tonight we want to talk specifically how to engage civically more folks in the process. Because right now it's well known that the election is upon us, right?
Absolutely.
And it's time that we vote, and we have to vote for change in our community that's going to empower the community, that's going to empower these young folks, that's going to engage these young folks. And we want you to talk about that in a minute. We're going to go ahead and get this caller. So think about what can the young folk be doing now to be actively involved in the direction of what's going on in their neighborhood. I mean, they can't vote.
Yes.
And they vote do matter.
Yes.
And the most important about them, most of the young people that I've known, they just want to be involved. They just want to be respected, and they want to be involved. Go ahead, give us the caller. Caller, you on air.
Well, first of all, this is Jeffrey, and I want to congratulate Commissioner Boykin on his continuous efforts and works in the community of the 1st District. I mean, there has been no one is more of an advocate for young people than Commissioner Boykin. I mean, he has a hiring event coming up on March 24th. He's always contributing and donating out of his personal pocket to young people. But he also has young people working in his office. And so they work on his staff, and they're a part of his staff. And so that's how we get young people involved. We need someone like Commissioner Boykin to continue to be independent, and we need independent leaders in our community. And so I want to congratulate and tell Commissioner Boykin to keep up the great work.
And hold on, don't go nowhere yet. And I appreciate that. You heard that?
I did.
So we appreciate the comment, we appreciate the concerns, and we agree because we have young folks who have been actively involved with Commissioner Boykin and the West Side on so many activities for so long that, and I'm so happy to say to you when I was talking to you earlier that we have a lot of our young folks who are now working over by the United Center.
Good.
So these young folks, I hate to see all of them leave like they leave because they're going to get that money and they chasing it for real.
Right.
But we have been exposing these young people literally to what it means in the world of work. I mean, we talking about we don't want them to be involved in this and involved in that. Well, we got to give them something to do. So we engage them when they get out of school to go straight to work. But give us a question that you have. What would be a question that you would have for Commissioner Boykin tonight that's pressing on your heart?
Well, something that's pressing on my heart, I want to know from Commissioner Boykin in his second term, because it's already been notated that he's going to get elected. But in his second term, what will be some of the efforts in regards to the work that he will be doing around young people and keeping our community safe?
Okay. Thank you for that question. He came in a little late, obviously.
Yeah,
but that's okay. You're all right. Go ahead. Do you mind?
Look, no, I don't mind.
Go
Look,
ahead.
I thank the caller for the question.
Thank you so
and
much.
for the comments.
Thank you,
Look,
Jeff.
I think it's so important that we focus on our young people. Look, in my first term, I held over 100 town hall meetings. I've held town hall meetings on every issue you can think of, the opioid addiction crisis.
And I want that too.
I was
want you to talk about that too.
actually the co-chair of a task force set up by the city and the county. Ed Burke was the other co-chair. And we came out with a bunch of recommendations. And one of the recommendations led to a big grant that Loyola got for about $311,000 to train local law enforcement in the suburban communities on how to administer Narcan, the life-saving potent, dose that brings people back to life.
Yeah, it's the toolkit.
And
the
so
Narcan toolkit.
We're training people in that. One of the other things that I did is I got $4.5 million for a triage center on the west side of Chicago, a collaboration between Habilitative Systems and Bobby E. Wright to help divert people who have substance abuse issues and mental illness away from the jail, Cook County Jail, and into treatment.
Well, now we kind of facilitated some of those ideas in our community with Bobby Wright and
Yes.
others, where we called it a crisis intervention mobile unit.
Yes, that's what it is.
24 hours where folks can get help. Let's get a
But you know where the money came from?
No, I didn't know. I
The
didn't
Cook
know.
County Health and Hospital System,
Well, that's
$4.5 million.
That's good for the unit.
Yes.
Come on, caller, you on the
How do
air?
you think they got it?
Well, tell us then.
Richard Boykin and Dennis Deere.
Okay.
Well, really, Robert Steele was pushing for that too. And so, Robert Steele and I, and now Dennis Deere, we represent the west side of Chicago.
Right.
And I have
Dennis is in 2
60%.
and you in 1.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
And so we push for that.
And
Because they
I'm-
have a facility in Roseland, a triage center in Roseland on the south side. And so we said we got to have something on the west side.
Let's get your call. Do we have a caller? Caller, you on the air. Come on, let's get your comment or question for Commissioner Boykin. You just heard him talking about, and I think that's extremely important. We have been talking about that issue ever since the shooting, the fatal shooting of Betty Jones, who was a member of our church, and also
Antonio LeGrier.
Antonio LeGrier, which we also funeralized both of them.
Yep.
But we have been talking about that and trying to get some intervention. And I thank you all for the resources, and I thank Dr. Shafir and Donald Dew for the passion to make sure that we don't let this die, that we make sure we bring these issues and concerns to the community so folks can actually get some of the mental health issues, and if they have some mental health issues, which we all do, get those things addressed. And most folks ain't gonna just come to a clinic and say, here I am, if you're not friendly, culturally, if you're not really embracing and inviting them in, they're not gonna come. Do we have a caller?
Yes.
Caller, your comment or question, please. Forgive me for having a moment, but when you told me about that money that you was bringing into the neighborhood, I was so thankful to hear that.
Yes.
Because Bobby Wright, of course, is one of the most, is the largest, in my opinion, the one that I know of, the only African American behavioral health center that I know on the west side.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, I was just calling in to make a comment to Commissioner Boykin. I was excited to hear that he had got the endorsement from Mays and Charles Jackson show, and they were talking about how it's very important that we re-elect Richard Boykin, because if we don't, we will have no one standing up for the black voices or the less than fortunate people that don't have a voice. By him doing that and them attacking him, that was a real reason that we need to re-elect elected officials like him.
So wait a minute,
I wanna thank
wait a minute. You say, and we want your question. You say they're attacking him. What you talking about?
Yes, so because he stood up for the people and got rid of that soda tax, it seems like everybody in the, I would say the machine is coming after him and the union is coming after him for standing up for the people. And so we are happy that he stood up for the people, and we're wondering if he can stand up for the people and get attacked, and what can we expect from the next person?
Well, let's go with that. Do you have a question for Commissioner Boykin tonight, though? And I want to make a comment if you don't mind. What's your question for tonight?
Just the question is, what can we expect if our elected officials are being attacked for standing up for the people? What is the solution to that type of action? Okay,
we're going to ask that question, but before we hit that, thank you so much for the caller, please. Stay true. Stay high. Stay on the high road.
Yep.
Don't go low.
Yep.
All right? Let folks do what they do. Stay on the high road.
Well,
Right.
and Reverend, we've stayed on the high road no matter how many negative attacks
Right.
come our way. But what I've learned is that when you're a change agent,
Right.
when you're an agent of change, people will always attack you.
Yeah,
The
they have to.
status quo
They have
will
to.
attack you. They attack Jesus Christ.
I was going to go there, but I was
And,
trying to be cool about it. All right.
So when
Go ahead.
it doesn't feel
it's-
good when you get
Of course
attacked.
not. But you know what? What don't break you make you, right?
Right.
And when you're talking facts and you don't when you're talking facts and you're talking substance, you don't have to get in the gutter.
Right.
All you have to do is stay true to the record. I've been sitting here listening. The audience been listening. You've been talking about what you've been bringing to the neighborhood, what you want to bring to the district, how you want to empower young folks. That's what we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about what we're going to do to empower each other. We done had enough of slandering each other. We done had enough of dirty politics. That's why folks are getting turned off with it.
Right.
We want you to tell us, as you was talking to the young lady was just talking to you. She was saying, what can we do in essence when folks are attacking others? What can we do to rise above the fray? I say to you,
You
stay on
said the Michelle Obama quote: "When they go low, you go high."
it works too. All right, it works.
But what I'd also say is this:
It works.
is that the people have to send those who would go low and play dirty politics. You have to send them a message, and that is you have to go out and vote, and you have to make sure that nobody stops you from getting to the poll. You have to get there by hook or crook. No matter what it takes, just get there. Because Rosa Parks, Dr. King, all these folks, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, all these people died for us to have the right to vote.
Absolutely.
And so we got to go vote as if our lives depended on it. And quite frankly, they do.
Think of a closing statement. Come on, do we have any callers on the line? Come on, caller, let's go.
Yeah.
We got a couple callers. Let's get them both rolling right quick. And because the lines are hot, let's get them going. Caller, what's your comment or question for Commissioner Boykin?
You know, I want to say I'm amazed with the commissioner. He has made such an impact, an economic impact in his first district. And this is his first term. He's done it with limited support. I want to ask, where have you garnered this strength? And what words would you give to somebody who would be mentored by you?
Thank you so much about mentoring others and where you get your energy from, which I think you'll be able to tell them. I think I know where it comes from. But go ahead, let's get another caller. Give me another caller so we can get a roll going. Caller, you on there? Your comment or question?
Yes, this is Ray again. This question is on the lighter side. You were talking about Iola. What do you think about that last second 3-point shot that got Loyola to win the game? That was exciting.
Thank
What do you
you.
think about that Chicago team?
Thank you so much. Now, thank you so much, Ray. Go ahead. Go with the first question.
So where do I get my energy?
energy.
I get my energy from the ultimate source, and that is God. I wake up every day with the constituents on my mind, and I go to bed at night trying to figure out how can I make life better for the residents of the 1st District and county-wide. And we've done that. We've done a lot, and we've got a lot more to do. This unfair property tax system that charges people more in communities like West Garfield and Austin, we got to change that system. And so I've been pressing the issues on that. We want to get back so that we can again reform county government and so that we can create economic development and opportunities for people in desperately deserving neighborhoods that have been disinvested
So
in.
give the people, before we have to go here, give the people your charge for the night. If people want to support you, how can they support you? If people are not quite sure or what's on their hearts and what's on their minds and where they should be going to be actively involved, tell the folks, this is your time. Give them a couple minutes, a couple seconds.
I want everybody to get involved. Look, everybody reach out and touch somebody's hand. Let's make this world a better place if we can. The reality of it is, if you want to get involved, go to my website, www.richardrboykin.com, or call me, 312-603-4566. Thank you.
What's your number?
312-603-4566.
What's your punch number?
Oh, punch number 91 when you go vote.
There you have it. So God bless you. Good night. Keep the faith. Listen, we thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the other side. God bless you and good night.